This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Connor, what's up? What's up, man? How's it going today? It's myself and in the C unit, Phil Elson, out and about calling a Ladybacks game today.
Yeah, it's going well. You know, Phil tells me just flying to West Palm, like, you know, no big deal, just middle of December, flying down to the beautiful state of Florida to do work things or whatever. I mean, I get it. Like, some people have that work ethic and they can show up on Monday, and others are just flying to West Palm and doing what they can. I get it, but it's good to be with you guys.
Yeah, he's the hardest man, working man in sports radio here in Arkansas, and he has his swim trunks with him, so he's crushing it. Connor, we were just talking a little bit about it. Daniels, I just saw this. I knew he had a COVID year, and I really think this COVID year and this warp zone is really beneficial to quarterbacks. You're getting a lot better quarterback play. They're able to get in spots, and they're able to grow and get reps. You see Bo Nix. I don't know if he can play in the NFL, but he got better. He did his thing. LSU Daniels, last year I would have said absolutely not. The kid couldn't throw. He couldn't throw it in the ocean. But he got better. He got better from this year to last year. You see what Lamar Jackson's doing. I do not see him anything close to Lamar Jackson, but he is an athlete. He can run if you want to put him in that mold, that Manziel mold, that RG3. Where do you have Daniels when it comes to him going to the NFL in this group of quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to be behind Caleb Williams, Drake May, right? I think those two guys have put themselves in the conversation to be probably top 3 picks. I'd be surprised if they weren't, and that's something that I, as a Bears fan, have kept very close tabs on and am very emotionally invested in. But I think somebody's going to fall in love with Jayon Daniels in the pre-draft process. I really do. And the fact that he's not playing in the bowl game, that we found that out, 40 minutes ago, to me, that's not necessarily a surprise if you're kind of following the line. I wouldn't look too far into that. LSU should still be set up really well with Garrett Nussmeier. But I think Daniels is such an interesting case study because as a guy who improved year over year as a passer, you're looking at, all right, what's going to translate to the next level? If you watched him this year, even more so than last year, his ability to work through his progressions and truly have the game slow down for him, that thing that everybody talks about, like all these underclassmen, oh, you're going to get that jump in year 2. He got it in year 5 in such a drastic way, and it made all the difference with that LSU offense that was essentially unstoppable down the stretch. So I think he is going to be a first-round guy. I think somebody's going to fall in love with him. He won't be in that tier 1 conversation, but I do think in today's NFL, he's going to provide someone with immediate value, and he'll be tabbed as a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, he is just a tremendous athlete, and you bring up a good point there. The one thing that I would say is he got a little bit better each year, and that's what you want to see, you know, as the NFL franchise moving over. So you got KJ Jefferson just entered the portal, and the last I looked at it, you had 118 quarterbacks in the portal. Are they going to all get jobs? And then where do you see a guy? I see a guy like KJ would fit in perfect with Rich Rod at Jacksonville State. I don't know if he's going to be like Rocket Sanders and change interdivision and go to South Carolina, but where do you see KJ taking his talents to?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because I think there are a lot of guys in the portal that would just love to have the experience that KJ does. And I think a lot of the guys that will enter in the portal will look up and realize, wow, I'm going to have to go be a backup somewhere and hope that things kind of break my way. That's just reality. It doesn't mean that they shouldn't have entered or that it's bad that they did. But, you know, guys that are looking for a new situation, it kind of makes sense to want to look at the possibilities available to say, what do I do well at the college level, and where's the place I could go that fits my skill set? That's the biggest thing that we need to see for KJ. And I think wherever he ends up, because I do think he's going to be a Power 5 starter. I don't know that he's going to go to Jacksonville State, as great as it would to be able to see him in a Rich Rod offense. I do think he ends up being a Power 5 guy. Like, what if he ends up at TCU? Like, what if he ends up back with Kendall Briles? Like, what if he ends up at a place like that where, look, I think that as much as I talked about on these airwaves, especially the transition for KJ into that pro-style system, you still need someone that understands his skill set, right? And his skill set as a runner and not just as a sitting duck back there in the pocket, that's what we need to see his next coordinator be able to embrace, be able to move the pocket, be able to utilize those true dual threat abilities and not just worried about how many games you're going to have him out there. So I think that KJ will have a Power 5 home. I would love to see him in a place that, look, even if it doesn't set him up for great success at the next level in the NFL, I think that there are still a lot of places he could go that would find some college success. And hopefully he finds the right one, because when he's right, man, it is just so unbelievably fun to watch. Yeah,
I think he will be a starter leading the line somewhere next year. And KJ, man, there's nothing wrong with having to go to the CFL. KJ can play quarterback for the next decade if he wants to. I don't know if it's going to be on Sundays, but he's a super talented kid. He's a leader. He gets better each year, so I'll definitely be pulling for him as well. Speaking of this college portal, what is Ole Miss doing right now, man? Have they figured it out? Are they doing the best job this year in the portal?
They are. And look, I know Arkansas fans wish that Chris Paul Jr. would have stayed at Arkansas. He's just one of the many guys that Lane Kiffin has been able to get in the portal. He is the portal king. You see the commitment from Juice Wells over the weekend, a guy who was an all-SEC receiver the last time that he was healthy on the field, and there was a reason why he was a preseason first-team all-SEC guy, and then just couldn't stay healthy, got hurt in that Georgia game, got hurt in the UNC game as well. But it's not just that. I mean, it's on defense what they've been able to do. They have been able to add all-SEC caliber players with Princely Manuelin, who was a guy from Florida that was supposed to be an anchor of that defense next year as well. Tyler Barron, who feels like he's been in the SEC forever. He's a 3-year starter at Tennessee. I already mentioned Chris Paul Jr. and Walter Nolan. Everybody is talking about him, the former number 2 overall recruit. If he's going to be going to Ole Miss, which it looks like that's going to be the case, this is just an unbelievable ability to say we have talent, and they have talent returning. J.J. Pegues, Jared Ivey, a couple guys on that defensive line. But we're going to add to that because you need depth in this conference. And if you're going to get into the 12-team playoff, which that's what Ole Miss is setting itself up to be able to do, you need guys like this to be able to play a 14-game schedule. And I credit Pete Golding, I credit Lane Kiffin for being as active as they have been and not just being like, oh, well, we won 10 games, so it's all good. We're developing the right way. No. Go out and get those guys in the portal. They have set themselves up really, really well to have a solid defensive line especially.
Connor, we get Bobby Petrino as the OC here at Arkansas. They went out and got a kid from Boise State. A lot of people kind of like what they saw out of Criswell. He had a few reps. You're hearing some rumblings about Singleton as far as the quarterback should be a healthy competition. But that being said, Connor, what else? When you're 1-7, you need help in a lot of spots. Where would you say Arkansas needs to go attack this portal these next couple weeks?
I think they still need to get receivers. And I know that's been a portal priority the last couple of years. And it's been mostly, I think mostly hits, even though there have been times which you wish you had that true number one guy. I still think that's the area where if they're going to get a quarterback to come in, whether that's now or whether that's post-spring, I would hope for the sake of Sam Pittman's future that they do that now. You need these guys that can go up and make plays for you. And they need more of those in-between guys. Those guys that, look, can just get on the outside and make something out of nothing. Ricky Pearsall a couple of years ago for Florida was a huge portal get out of Arizona State. And the things that he was able to do, and he developed into that number one type guy. Like, those guys are out there. I mean, South Carolina, we're just talking about Juice Wells. Juice Wells is at James Madison. Like, that was a guy that anybody could have gone out and got. It just takes the right scouting and being able to see what these guys have. I mean, Ole Miss, last year, they go to Louisiana Tech, and they get Trey Harris, a guy who turns into an all-SEC caliber player that, look, anybody could have had. And so it's just a matter of being able to prioritize that. And if you're going to rebuild this offense the way that we think you need to be able to run it with Bobby Petrino, you need those guys on the outside. Texas A&M had those guys on the outside, very talented options. But I think that's where a lot of this scouting is going to come down to for Arkansas and that staff.
Hey, Connor, with the bowl mania going on, we do a little bowl pick'em here where we kind of make it into a competition. And but that being said, what's one of your bowl games that you're looking at that you think, if the opt-outs, everything that's going, that you're like, man, I can't wait to watch this game outside of, the Final Four?
Yeah, I think Mizzou-Ohio State's really interesting with Kyle McCord off to Syracuse. I'm excited to see this Mizzou team another time. This is one of those stories that would be talked about in a much different way in the 12-team playoff era, but it's still an awesome team. I mean, this is a group that played with every single team on that schedule this year, including Georgia in Athens, including LSU. They had the lead halfway through the fourth quarter and just couldn't hold on. Jayon Daniels, best player in the country, played like it that day. But I think Mizzou has just been a fun team to be able to watch. And with a month of rest, feeling like this is their Super Bowl, I'm excited to see what they look like on that stage. Brady Cook, a guy that has shut up a lot of people, including his own fans who were booing him going into that Kansas State game. What kind of performance does he have? And Cody Schrader, who easily the best walk-on in college football. I mean, like, just a stud in the things that he did this year. Like, I'm excited to see those guys and Luther Burden. So that's the one that I have circled on Penn State, Ole Miss, just because I've been saying for a long time that I think Ole Miss is a much better team than Penn State. They have a better resume, in my opinion. They just didn't get credit for it. So I'm looking forward to those, a couple of New Year's Six Bowls that we'll have in a couple weeks here.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.